After I posted the last tutorial, Rick came on the forum and asked if I could do something else as a tutorial, and I think I can. But first of all, I'd like to go over how we did the last tutorial, because I think it might help some people, especially Pushpack, because this is all done within TDO. So I'd like to review how we did it in TDO. What I do is I open my library in TDO, and then I go to the directory where I have all of the images from any particular case. So this is on our server at Perf. I go into my server directory, and I'm going to use the latest case that I did, which is Captain Kirk's General Wave case. And all of the images are on that server, and you have access to all those images on your Google Drive as well. So I go into, it's case 627, and all of the folders are there, and I simply go to that directory, copy the folder. So folders 627 Huffaker, I copy that folder, and I come over to my TDO library, and I simply paste it into the main Perf research library. You can create your own library. And what it does is it copies all of those folders into TDO for me, which gives me a tremendous advantage of putting material together, because I have everything in TDO according to the folder structure that I have on my server. As you can see, those are all the radiographs. There's the photography that I did. Now I have this all in TDO organized in a folder structure. So I know where all of my images are in TDO. Even though there are hundreds of thousands of images, I know where every single one is. If you look at my SEMs here, I keep those by area, and you can see that these SEM images from Kirk's, which I'm going to use to actually start Rick's request in how to distinguish biofilms from pre-dentin decalcification. If you go into the different routes, I have all of that material by area, but what's advantageous here is I can now bring it into TDO on the draw page and have all of my notations all within TDO. For example, if I want to label one of the images, I simply double click on it. It brings it into draw. And now I can label it in draw. Let's just label this as an example. I come in here, use the text tool. Go ahead and label it. This is so much easier than going into PowerPoint and back and forth between all these different applications. I can keep everything organized with TDO, and I know where everything is. I use the arrow tool, and if you make a mistake, it's very easy. Like I drew an arrow. I don't want a red arrow, I want a yellow arrow, and I want it larger. It's very simple to just erase it, change it to exactly the way I want it. So that's how all of this material is generated, and it's the reason I can do this so quickly. I can put a presentation together, but really within minutes, even though there might be thousands of images involved. Here you can see I've made a spelling mistake. I simply go in, correct the mistake. I don't like the yellow alone, so I want to go ahead and put a black border around it, all done within TDO. So it's a tremendous advantage. If you take the images off your Google Drive and put them into your library in TDO, you can use any of these images to make your own presentations very, very easily. Then I go ahead and save that as. I don't want to overwrite the old image. So I have all of my annotations on the images saved in TDO as well. So it's a unbelievably efficient way to put material together. And I have a separate folder for presentations, so I'll just copy that image that I've just saved, and I copy it, and I keep all of those annotated images together in another folder called Presentation. There I'm just right-clicking and copying. I go to the Presentation folder. I paste it into the Presentation folder. So if you actually go to the presentation that I just did on thoughts on Denton imaging, I'll just briefly show you. It's in 626. And if I go to the presentation folder, you'll see all of the images that I used in that presentation. And they're also posted in your Google Drive. You have access to those images as well. These are all of the images and annotations that I used in that presentation. And I can reorder those slides, put them in the order that I want. And I can also show them through TDO and record that showing. So I like it because of the zoom capability of TDO in the image organizer. So here I am doing a slideshow in TDO, zooming in on the image, and I just record that in Resolve using the Resolve switcher. And Pushpack is going to be doing some of this material in the very near future, I hope. And you can see I go from slide to slide. I can zoom in. So it's a very efficient way to put a presentation together and to make it very, very compelling. These are the little Resolve switchers, very inexpensive switchers. And of course, the software is free. The Resolve software is free. So it's so much better than Adobe. There's just no comparison whatsoever. So I'll try to satisfy Rick's request on comparing decalcifying pre-Denton with biofilms. And this is how I'll do it. I'll do it all within TDO. So I hope this helps a little bit for those of you who are interested in doing presentations. Time is money, so if you can do it efficiently, it really helps and makes you enjoy it much, much better.